Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, She Sews Happiness. I'm Mary Ellen and I am here today with my run through of what I got up to in the sewing room this week. So this is your cue to go and join me, grab a cup of tea, coffee, or if you're watching this at a much later hour than what I am currently recording in, which is approximately 10 a.m. Feel free to go and pour yourself something stronger. But this is just a catch up today of what I've got up to in the last week. It's Monday morning and usually I would record my vlogs on a Friday, but I ended up working again on my day off. Seems to be the current trend. There's just a lot to do and not enough time in which to do it. So we've got to Monday and I thought, well, finally getting a day off, let's catch up and share with you what's been going on in the sewing room. So in spite of having an extraordinarily busy week, I managed to do some sewing. And I do actually think that this is standard for me, as in the more I have to do, the more I actually get done. And I definitely found that when I went back to education as a mature student a few years ago, you know, while working full-time and actually working on top of that doing freelance work as well, I managed to do my degree, moving over to library information and management. And I was also very social around that time. Like I was out a lot. You know, I remember it was just that kind of emancipation that you get from getting out of a grueling, unpleasant marriage. So I was making sure I enjoyed myself at the same time. But yeah, I just remember it being an incredibly productive time in my life. So we're going back now, what, about five, 6 years. So yeah, I think that's what I found, because even whenever I was studying for my PhD, albeit much younger and in my early 20s, I not only did that, I taught quite a lot at the university the whole way through my PhD. I also held down a full-time job just because I really liked money and I really liked traveling and I really liked designer dresses. So I worked my ass off because I could. You know, you've got youth on your side at that point. I don't have youth on my side anymore, but I can still be productive when I want to be. And of course, the coffee doesn't hurt, right? So let's start at the beginning. So the first thing I stitched up, and I don't have it here because it's in the wash, I've already worn it, was a Sew Over It Georgie dress. Now you'll know if you are frequent to my channel that I've made this dress a handful of times. I actually happen to be wearing a Georgie dress today, but it was one that I'd made because I had this beautiful, I'll pop in the picture, beautiful navy and rosebud viscose jersey in my stash, which I bought way last year, like months and months and months ago from the Fabric Boutique. And I thought because we're still in that kind of like cold phase, I was in the mood for something with a dark background. So I thought I'd stitch it up, and I thought I'd do a very bold thing for a girl that lives in Ireland, and I made the 3/4 circle skirt version. I generally tend to make it with a gathered skirt because it affords a little bit more dignity on a windy day, but spring is coming. So there'll be April showers, but hopefully just not the same gusts of wind and storms that we've experienced all winter. So that was the first thing I made during the week. So that was, yeah, it feels like a long time ago now, even though it's not. But I love this pattern. It's really simple to make. It's incredibly comfortable. The one that I'm wearing is actually from a very, very light viscose jersey by Lady McElroy, which I got from Minerva. And it sits very, very differently because it's really floaty. It's beautiful. But I've also made it in kind of like more structured cotton jerseys and things as well. And it just works for any type of jersey. But the one thing that I love about it is that it's lined. So fully lined. And your neckline has elastic stitched in there, so no gaping, just, yeah, really, really nice to wear. So that was the first thing I made. Second thing I made was a little sweater for Henry. So I made this exact garment a year ago coming up to Mother's Day, and if I can find a little picture from last year, I will pop it in here for you. So I made myself a Colette Patterns Monetta dress in exactly the same fabric, and I got these beautiful transfers from Freya Illustrates, and I just thought it was really, really sweet little thing to do for Mother's Day. So I made him this little matching sweater which he could wear, and this is a really beautiful fabric. So this is, where did I buy this? This is from Minerva. This is a light loop back French terry. I've actually made it in the medium last year, so my dress actually would have looked so much better in this. I didn't realize it came in a light variation, but I just love this kind of like natural color. It goes with everything as well. But that's our little matching outfit for this year too. And that's the thing, obviously he's long grown out of the one I made last year, and I do have one more of these transfers, so I'll get another year to make the same little outfit, and then we'll have to move on to something else. But this is, I should mention, the strawberry sweater from Poppy and Jazz. It's one I've made over and over and over again, especially whenever he was smaller. I made quite a few of them. They sew up in no time at all, and they're just really good in terms of the fitting as well. So I've actually made an 18 to 24 in this because Henry is now 14 months, but he's a larger 14 months. But what I would say as well is that there is a lot of room in the strawberry sweater, and I think technically in all of the Poppy and Jazz patterns you have that little bit of extra room, so there's lots of growing space in there. So that was my second make. From there, what did I make next? Oh yeah, I just like did a little project for myself. So basically as a little experiment, as you know, I cross stitch. So let me just show you. The light is either bright or dark today. It's really nice, it's atmospheric, but it might not be the best for recording, and I don't want to stick the light on at this time of the day. But yeah, this is my current cross stitch project that I am working on. It's just a little kit that I got from Bothy Threads, but it's these lovely little sewing mice. I think my postman has arrived because I can hear my dogs going crazy. I don't know what they think they're protecting me against, but that postman must be a really evil person and I just don't know it. So yeah, this is the little one that I'm stitching at the moment. I'm just being careful that all my loose threads don't end up in my coffee. That will be just my luck. Because what I have discovered with the last couple of Bothy thread kits that I made is that at the end you really don't have an awful lot of thread left. So I'm using every bit that I possibly can. But I thought I would try running something up because I keep seeing these beautiful cross stitch project kits. I may go and check on the post. So yes, the postman has arrived, and actually the dogs in here are best of friends when they can get out to him. It's just when he is at the door they have a problem. I'd have chatted too long. My coffee's going cold. Anyhow, thing is, you get used to cold coffee when you've got a baby in the house. So I was telling you about this. I keep seeing these lovely project bags, so I thought I would try and make myself one. So what I didn't think of was the size of frames I usually use, and I just made a random size project bag. So this is only good for smaller projects. So you can see here I have this lovely fabric which I just quilted really, really quickly, and it is very rough, so don't look too close. Like even the threads, I didn't even change the thread that was in my machine. But it's just something I'm going to use, so I don't care. But yeah, just this lovely quilted fabric. So it's got little French things all over it. It says bonjour, oh la la. It's got patisserie, aprons, croissants. And on the other side, these lovely hearts. So these were fat quarters that came in a So Hailey Jane box months ago. And yeah, I think it's worked quite well. There's a few things I'll change. But it's nice. I've just used some clear vinyl here, so when I have a few of these sewn up and I have projects in each of them, I can reach for the one I need really easily. And yeah, just a little zip pouch bound with the backing fabric. One thing I've done is keep them quite malleable because I thought it's going to be easier to put things in there, but if I discover I don't like that, I'll just use a firmer fabric to kind of give it a bit more structure. But I don't think it needs structure because once there's things in there, it's gonna sit pretty structured anyhow. So yeah, I made one of these, absolutely love it. I need to bulk up now on some clear vinyl, so it's just, I found it in a couple of places and everywhere I go it's sold out, sold out, sold out. I'm guessing bag making and project bags and things like that are a big thing. But yeah, I'll have to get my hands on some more of that just so I can make a few of these. They're going to be really handy. But as you can see, with the kind of projects I have, I'm going to need to make much bigger ones as well. So one more thing then that I turned my attention to last week is I revisited one of my old favorites, the Kosedo Patterns Lima dress. Now, this is a dress that I have shared my thoughts on probably quite frequently, if not in actual making time, in rundowns of patterns that I love. And I think it even featured on my Valentine's rundown this time last year. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those patterns that you could say a lot, but actually you don't need to say an awful lot. It is such a classic cut pattern. Basically, it features princess seams, which I think are great in terms of adjusting, but also in terms of giving you that lovely shaping in the bodice without any awkward lines from darts. It's got a v-neck, but it's a very soft, almost rounded v-neck. And if I pop a couple of pictures in here, you'll see what I mean by that. It has a gathered skirt. You can make, well, it comes with two options for length, but let's be honest, a gathered skirt is a gathered skirt, and whether you sew it at 28 inches, 32 inches, 38 inches, you know, it's all good. It's entirely up to you where you cut those rectangular pieces, although there is a slight shaping in the skirt pieces. And then my favourite, puff sleeves. I love a puff sleeve. They can look incredibly cute, but they can also just look very classic as well. And I think it affords this pattern a little bit more elegance than what it would have if it didn't have the puff sleeve. A little bit more drama too. I love a little bit of drama. But one of the things I always tell people, if people are asking me, you know, for a really good solid beginner pattern, if you've only got a couple of projects under your belt, I always tell people to try Kosedo Studios Lima dress. Basically, I just find the instructions to be so clear that a beginner would be more than capable of sewing this dress. But what I love even more than that is the size chart. So I will pop a little image in here to show you the size charts for this dress. And I say charts intentionally because there is 3 blocks. There are 3 blocks of sizes. And in each of those blocks, you have 3 cup sizes. And I just think for an individual person working on patterns, for one person to have done all of that work is amazing, particularly when you have other pattern companies with teams of people behind them simply refusing to do that kind of work, or saying it's too difficult and too time consuming and too niche. If one person can do that amount of work to make their patterns not only inclusive but really beginner friendly, then I don't see how there's an excuse for any other. The fit of this is incredible, and no matter what your level, there's very little you will have to do to make this look and feel amazing. And I think what I love about Vanessa's designs, there are a couple of patterns there, and a Nook dress I made as well, and I might have to revisit that one because it was lovely. What I love is that she does have expertise. You know, obviously her background is in fashion and in pattern cutting, and she has decided to go out on her own instead of working for large designers. But you can tell that she has expert knowledge of the female form. And she doesn't prescribe what the female form should be. She literally has made a pattern range that is for all shapes and sizes, and I love that. I think it's incredible. The fabric that I've used here, I absolutely adored. I fell in love with this the moment I saw it. It's an exclusive for Minerva. It's one of their exclusive range. It's called Byzantine Streets, I think. And it's a cotton, no, it's not a cotton, it's a linen and viscose blend, which I personally love. It's one of my favorite types of fabric to sew with, not just because it's really easy to sew with, but also you get that linen finish, but less creasing, and also a little bit more fluidity than what you would have from just 100% linen. The viscose adds a little bit of movement to the fabric. So perfect for the gathered skirt and for the puff sleeves. So you have a little structure, but also not too formalesque. You know, you don't want it to be stiff and rigid. You want it to have a little flow, and that's exactly what this fabric does. So I will be writing up a little bit more about that project because Minerva actually gifted me that fabric as part of the brand ambassador program. So I will be posting more details about that over on my Minerva profile. So there's always a link underneath to that in my description box. But that's what I've been sewing. I've just got a parcel. I have no idea what it is. So I'm just gonna have a quick look to see. It's not what I was expecting. I thought possibly my cotton twine subscription box was going to arrive today, but it has not. So, oh yeah, it's like basic things. From Empress Mills, I just needed some very fine elastics because I never have anything just thin enough, and I do love Prim elastics. I think they're amazing, but these are the 5mm. I either have the 6 or the 7 as standard, but I just thought I'd get something smaller. And then I've literally just picked up a couple of 1/2 meters of fabrics, and again these are to make cross stitch project bags. So I've got this gorgeous print from Lewis and Irene. I just think it's really cute. It's from the Paws and Claws range, and it's so spring-like. The wee dogs are so cute, and just a wee coordinating 1/2 meter there to go with that. So that's just to make a couple more project bags. That's all that is. But let me share with you. I'm not going to share you. That would be absurd. I'm selfish that way. I'll show you what's on the table. So there's a couple of things here. The first thing I have is some denim, which I've pre-washed, pre-shrunk, and this is on my project pile to start today. Now this is part of a secret project. I here have the A0 copies to start a tester for Sew Over It. So super exciting. Really can't wait to see what this turns out like. I'm being bold, I'm not twirling, because there is a deadline to doing this and I don't have all the time in the world. So I'm just going to cut straight in and hope for the best. It's not like me. I'm getting really bold as I get older. So yes, that's what that is. And then this came on Saturday. It's also from Empress Mills. 2 separate deliveries. So this is a gorgeous like greyish denim with gold metallic stars, and that's in case this one turns out really well, like so well that I want another. So that's what that's for. And then here is a lovely little fabric that I've got from Minerva. This is my next brand ambassador make, and this is to make some sleepwear for my wee Henry. I love this. It's glow in the dark, and it really does glow in the dark, so it's super cute. So that's where I am in terms of my projects going into the week. There was something else I wanted to share with, you. So I know like way back when I started my vlog, I was sharing with you some sewing themed novel reads, recommended reads, things that I was enjoying, things that I thought you might enjoy too. And this isn't a sewing related book by any means, although there are a couple of little instances in here that do reference sewing and stitching and the power of words and fashion. But I recently finished this. So this is The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods. And I have to be honest, I've been struggling to really get into stories recently. Just, I don't know. Again, it's just time, because I used to be the person who would sit and read a book until it was finished, and I do not have the luxury of that much time anymore. So I have not been doing that, but I adored this book. Utterly delightful read. I recommend it now to everybody, have been all week. Really heartwarming, really charming. The characters are people that you really want to get behind. It's a little bit magical at the same time. So again, that's my style of read. This book also has a bit of a historical fiction aspect too. So it begins in 1921 with a girl called Obeline Carlyle. She has a passion for books, and she basically runs away from home when her older brother is trying to marry her off to yeah, not a great prospect, let's put it that way. So she runs away and she goes to Paris and she embarks on a career as a bookseller. Who wouldn't, if given the choice between marrying some old man and yeah, living a life of adventure? I'd run too. But that's where the story begins, and it intertwines with the story of Martha, who is a young woman who is fleeing an abusive husband and basically learning to stand on her own 2 feet. And she meets Henry, who is a PhD student searching for a lost manuscript by Emily Bronte. And this letter was, I'm trying not to give away the plot, but this letter was referenced in a manuscript from Opaline, and that's how the story ties together. So he's looking for this mysterious lost bookshop, and yeah, Martha gets caught up in his quest to find this lost manuscript by Emily Bronte. So basically, yeah, this just transitions effortlessly, I think, from 1921 into the future. And sometimes you find with narratives that are running into time frames, it doesn't work too well. This I thought was absolutely beautiful. I really love kind of like 1920s literary Paris things anyhow, so got caught up with that. I'm just aware that I don't want to ruin it, so I'm not going to say much more than that, but let's just say it is a joy to read. I will happily pass this on to anybody who wants it, and yeah, really recommend it. So just a random note to end my vlog. I'm going to go and get cutting out now because I put this bit off longer and longer every time there's a new project to go, and it does take me longer to get myself around to cutting rather than sewing. So I'm going to go and do that now, and hopefully next weekend, I think it looks like I'm going to be working next Friday on my day off again, but certainly next weekend I'll get back and share with you what I have been up to, and hopefully it's more than this secret project because I can't show you that yet. But yeah, I'm sure there'll be other little things on the radar too. So I'm gonna sign off for now, try to be productive, maybe go and make a hot cup of coffee and get started again. But yeah, thanks again for stopping by and allowing me to chat away to you for a while, and hopefully you'll come back and we can do it all over again soon. So enjoy your week, hopefully you get some stitching time as well, and I'll chat to you all again soon. Bye.